What exactly are we talking about today? You can tell that I've done high-level preparation for our chat today when I have to ask this question off the bat. But what are we going to cover?
I thought we would have an argument,
Okay.
and not necessarily a 5-minute argument, maybe the full half hour. Welcome to The Next Journey, the adventure travel podcast with me, Andrew St Pierre White. I'm a prisoner of this hill. Okay. I'm glad you're sitting down for this. Okay. What do you think that is?
Well, that looks like something that's been very hastily welded together in the pinion-type domain of a differential or something.
Yes, it's exactly what it is. It's a center differential pinion, and they had done that. Unbelievable. They had welded it made it into a two-wheel drive vehicle. And what I didn't see, because I bought it blind, because 105s are very rare, the diesel kinds, I didn't see that it had they had put in freewheeling front hubs. So if you put a freewheel front hubs onto a full-time four-wheel drive vehicle and they are unlocked, if I had seen this, not bought it blind, and I'd seen those diffs, I would have walked away that instant. So, no, I'm not interested in this car. It's been butchered. So they had taken the full-time four-wheel drive system, put freewheel front hubs on it, which I saw were unlocked, and yet the car was driving, but the center lock was not on, which in case it should have just been spinning the prop shafts and not driving the car at all.
Well, the center lock was actually on. They just used a different mechanism.
That was the center lock. that was the center lock.
Yeah.
It was driving the two back wheels and no drive at all to the front prop shafts. They had converted that Land Cruiser into a two-wheel drive, and that cost a lot.
It doesn't get better than that, does it? Like that is a pretty textbook, like award-winning modification right there. I love it.
Staggering.
Mm.
It floored when I saw it. It floored me, and I did a whole video on how converting a full-time four-wheel drive vehicle into a part-time four-wheel drive vehicle by fitting front hubs is you're taking a vehicle that's designed in a certain way to operate in four-wheel drive, locked or unlocked center transmission. That's how the whole vehicle was designed, and all of those brilliant Toyota engineers, or from whoever manufacturer that you choose to buy your car from, spent a lot of time developing that car, and you and I are going to make. I'm going to make Concorde wings shaped like this because, well, why not?
That's like getting an F-14 Tomcat and then fixing the wings out. So I can't, go back to Delta Wing for high speed. It's just like, yeah, I want the wings out. We'll just weld them shut.
Look better. Anyway,
I just wonder, I'd love to, no, I wouldn't, but it would be interesting to be inside the head of the thought process, like to get a window, like a bird's eye view of the thought process that underpinned that. Like, does someone actually say, oh, well, I've got a welder and I can get these hubs on eBay, and is there some way I can just use them to achieve my objective?
And the objective was to save fuel. That was the objective, because it's known in the industry that full-time four-wheel drive vehicles use more fuel than part-time four-wheel drive vehicles. It is a fundamentally incorrect assumption. It's not true. The difference in fuel consumption is so small, I defy you to measure it. And I've done my own tests.
Yeah, it can't be significant. Like, if you know anything about physics, it can't be significant because there might be a slight difference in the hysteresis in the rubber on the front tires from being pushed to being driven, but everything else is still turning and therefore burning and dragging and all of that stuff. That is one of the enduring myths. I get that, of the off-road set, but it's complete crap. And the other thing is, how much time and effort and monetary cost did this fuel-saving modification actually take? Like, you needed the parts and you needed the welder and you needed at least a couple of afternoons on the weekend to get it done. So if only those powers and those resources had been used for good as opposed to evil, imagine what could have been achieved. It's an opportunity cost proposition, isn't it?
Like, it's an absurdity I did 2 tests myself, in one in a Land Cruiser and a mate of mine in a Pajero that has Super Select. And I've always claimed Super Select is nothing more than a marketing ploy. You can drive it in 2-wheel drive, you can drive it in 4-wheel drive with an open center transmission. And he was doing some work, and he had one of these vehicles, and it was actually in Zambia, and he was doing lots and lots of trips. And I said to him, do me a favor. Yeah, John, do me a favor. He said, you're doing all these like 7 trips a week, like once a day, and do part of them in 4-wheel drive and part of them in 2-wheel drive, and just measure the fuel consumption for me. And he came back and he said, and there's no difference. There's absolutely no difference. There's no difference.